What's up, guys? It is the Hake Report. It's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time. Shout out, Cracker. Thank you, man. And it is Monday, December 13th, 2021 AD. I am back. Jesse's back. Guess who's back? It is, we're gonna have a fun show, I think. I want to talk about the Trump haters, the ones who don't go along with the climate hysteria, haters, and many other things. There's a lot of people died in Kentucky and elsewhere, even in an Amazon warehouse. Somewhere back in the Midwest or the South somewhere. I don't know geography. And an interesting update and commentary on that Michigan shooting charged as terrorism from a progressive prosecutor. Give me a break. Some liberal females crying on Twitter about the monster that they helped create and continue to help, right? Because they're not decent, conservative, quiet women. No, they're loudmouthed, dumb, liberal, evil females, communists. And a little throwback on Jussie Smollett, if I have time, and other things. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Have you been naughty or nice?
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you guys doing? How was your weekend? I am fine. Mine was fun. Had a restful time. I actually went to a wedding over the weekend. It was a nice wedding. That's cool. It was actually maybe one of the best ones, maybe partly because it was one of the shortest. Outside, small, beautiful, very cool. And then I had church on Sunday. We were back for church with Jussie Lee Peterson. You know, I myself, James Hake, am the producer of the church with Jussie Lee Peterson. That doesn't mean I set up the topics for JLP to talk about. No, it just means that I work with these guys and help make sure that it goes out online and summarize what happened. Put it up on the church website, which is rebuildingtheman.com/church. Always excellent. And Women's Forum this week. I love the men's forums. I go to the men's forums. They're a highlight of the month, except that we didn't have one this month. But we were having some much needed rest, exercising rest. It is a discipline. And of course, third Thursday of the month, women's forums. First Thursday is the men's forums. And they are a highlight, rebuildingtheman.com/events. That's just a side note. Guys, before I get to calls, there are some calls to get to. You can call in 888-775-3773. I am wearing a beautiful t-shirt from the JLP store. Tom Like a Mug with Jussie Lee Peterson. Very cool. This is, well, you'll find it. I think it's considered, I mean, I got it from when we had the Teespring store. Jussie Lee Peterson had the Teespring store, but he's been kicked off of the Teespring store. The JLP store was, because we had White History Month, we had Tar Baby, a great design by Nicolas, and I tried to buy a Tar Baby shirt for myself, and I couldn't even buy it from the Spreadshirt store. Talk about censorship. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. What a mess, huh? But anyway, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com/stores if you want to find t-shirts pertaining to JLP, to Bond, and to the fallen state, right? For the Hake Report t-shirts, you go to thehakereport.com and look for the Teespring link in the menu, up in the menu. Anyway, I want to briefly tell you about this Trump hater And Trump pushed some criticism of him. I won't call it hate, because I haven't really seen Trump being a hateful person. This Fox News anchor, Chris Wallace, son of supposedly like the legendary Mike Wallace, who I wasn't familiar with, because Chris Wallace is, I don't know, he's up there. He's probably a boomer. But anyway, he announced his surprise departure from the Fox News network yesterday. He does Fox News Sunday, and he helped moderate a debate with the presidential debate stuff. He was kissed up to Megyn Kelly, if I remember right. Maybe not, when Trump bashed her. And shortly after that, after Chris Wallace resigned, on the spot, he's like, I am resigning effective immediately. He'd probably been in secret talks with Fox News. But shortly after that, CNN announced that Chris Wallace, will join the CNN Plus, which is a streaming platform launching early next year, to host a show featuring interviews with newsmakers across politics, business, sports, and culture. But I just remember Trump, when he had Twitter, when Twitter was less evil than it is now, I think, he would call him out and say he's a disgrace to his father, basically. Interesting. Trump openly admitted he has anger. I know he wrote a book and he has like an angry face, but I don't think he has that type of anger. I could be wrong. I just saying I haven't seen it. Just because he says it doesn't mean it's true. Anyway, before I get to more of the Trump hatred and mess going on in the world and white hatred, attack on whites. Let me get to Howard in North Carolina. He wants to apologize to me or something for some reason. What's up, Howard? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, James. How about you?
Doing well as well. Thank you.
I don't know if you remember, but the last time I called you about the Hebrew Israelites.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling you you're supposed to love your enemies and all that. And I listened back to that. It sounded kind of preachy and all that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to come off the way I did, but I hope you got the gist of what I was saying.
Yeah.
But it's just, I know they hate us.
You're talking about the black Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah.
Hating whites?
Yeah.
A lot of them do, yeah. I've met some nice ones, although even those nice ones will say, oh, yeah, it's white supremacy.
Even though they'll do what?
They'll be nice. I've met some, because I traveled with JLP and some others over to Las Vegas, Nevada, and Jesse debated this Elder Rashwa or something like that, another black Hebrew Israelite over there. And we had barbecue with those guys. I don't know if they treated us, but they took us to eat some barbecue over in Las Vegas and had us over at their houses and stuff. But yeah, he was. They're a little off, but they were some of them are nicer than others for sure. Some of them are less off the deep end evil.
I just wonder if the nice ones are pretending to be evil, but they really have the hate in their heart as the other ones do too.
Usually that's the case with all people, honestly. Yeah.
You're right. You're exactly right. Sorry. Yep.
Yep.
And I think. So
you're apologizing for being preachy because you went back and listened to your.
Yeah, it sounded like I was a Bible thumper. And,
okay. I don't think I really picked up on that.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Because I think you handle them well, and I like the way you just call evil out like it is.
Yeah.
You say they're evil, and they say all that crazy stuff to you, and I think you handle yourself well. On
the JLP show, one of the guys whom I had to ban because he's just being too vicious and nasty and just.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, he was having like violent fantasies and kept on continuously repeating it. And I'm like,
Yeah, I remember.
I don't even
some
think
of
he
it.
really owes me an apology as much as just the audience, because it's kind of nasty to listen to. It's
He
ridiculous.
has hate in his heart, and he, like I said, he'll reap what he
Right.
sows.
But maybe that's his way of apologizing. He said, "Stop being white fragility or something like that."
Not fragility, whatever. Yeah.
He's
whatever.
repeating that. Is that woman Italian? The woman who wrote White Fragility? Is she Jewish, or is she Italian, or is she just a dumb evil woman? I'm blanking on her name. Yeah. She has an Italian last name. Poor Italians.
Yeah. Can you look it up?
Robin DiAngelo.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote a book, White Fragility, and this simp,
What
which
does it mean,
I shouldn't
White
talk about him
Fragility?
when he can't call in because now he can't call in and defend himself. But that's his own fault. But this simp is repeating words that she is pushing, popularized or whatever. I guess it was popular before she even wrote it. But anyway, I appreciate it, Howard. Yeah, I don't.
One more thing, right
Yeah.
quick. You know, RINO's Republicans in name only.
Yes.
Just popped in my head all day. You know what a CINO is?
Christian in name only?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to call it like RINO or I don't know what. Christian in
you
name
have
only.
used that before? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen different people use it before, for sure.
I've never heard it. It just popped into my mind.
Yeah. You know what? It seems like most people are
You got
Christians
that
in
right.
name only.
They'll go to church on Sunday and listen to the preacher for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then that night, they don't even remember what the preacher said. And then through the week, they don't even think about God.
Yeah, because the point is not to
It's
To
weak. Churches
go
are
listen to the
weak.
preacher and try to remember what he said, because that's not how things work. It's not how your life
I mean,
works.
they don't even. Well, let me rephrase that. They
No,
don't
but you're
even
right. That's
think,
exactly
they
what
don't even
they do.
They don't even think about what he said and
Yeah.
ponder on it and ask the Holy Spirit if it's right.
Right.
One more thing, real quick.
Yes, sir.
I keep saying that.
I know.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Don't even apologize, man.
I'm not being personal or not trying to start anything or anything. Well, I am being kind of personal. I ask you a personal question. I don't hear nothing about Holly no more.
Oh, yeah. Have I ever talked about her?
I hadn't heard you talk about her in a long time.
I don't think
I've
I've
watched.
ever really talked about her on air.
Well, you've mentioned her name, but you know what I mean. You
Right.
hadn't no, you hadn't. No, you hadn't really talked about it.
Yeah.
But,
Nunya.
She
Says
seems like
Nick.
she knows what you stand for and everything, and she still likes you. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
nice, right?
assuming that she could be a good person.
Well, I
decent
appreciate it,
person.
Howard.
hmm We need more white babies like you and Chris.
Right.
Stand for the truth.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Well,
I'm
thank
not
you. I appreciate
making anything by that. Not making
the
anything
feedback.
by that. Well, you have a good day, Hake.
All right. You as well. Take care. I just shared in the YouTube and D Live and Twitch and Discord and Facebook chats a link shared by Fabriettes over there in Odyssey. Shout out Fabriettes. Fabriettes. I don't know if I'm supposed to roll the R. It's just a bad habit, maybe. Las Vegas debate with Elder Rao Cha Shayar. RAWCHAASHAYAR. And Jesse Lee Peterson. Las Vegas debate. From, boy, when was this? Why can I not see the date that this took place? This is so strange. Did YouTube change their setup or something like that? Aren't you supposed to be able to see the date? Am I blind? What in the world? 185,000 views. Okay, there it is. 185,000 views. October 6th, 2017. Wow. That was even before. Oh, no, that was in the midst of the Trump administration. Very cool. That was fun. It's a few years ago now. Let me get to one more call. Joe in Phoenix, Arizona wants to call in with a little tip. How you doing, Joe?
Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Did you see what Bill Russell did last week?
No. Bill Russell.
You don't know who Bill Russell is? Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the name, and he's black. Nice. Born in 1934. American
Yes,
former
you are.
professional basketball player. Played as a center for the Boston. Is it Celtics or Celtics? No, I'm playing.
The Celtics.
Celtics. 6'10".
Anyway, he auctioned off a bunch of his old memorabilia from his playing days. He raised about $5 million and donated it to a local mentorship group that pairs up underprivileged kids with work opportunities.
What's an underprivileged kid?
Poor, basically.
Okay, whatever. But
And
that's nice.
It wasn't just black folks. It's any poor kid.
Okay. Well,
So,
right on to him, I guess. If
that's the kind of thing that's going to turn things around, James. Not getting on the internet and lying and denigrating and stereotyping.
you don't know. That's not
I
going to
do
turn.
know.
I mean, donating to a nonprofit, you don't throw money at a problem and expect it to get fixed.
That's not what he's doing.
Well, I'm just saying he gave to mentorship group. He gave money, right, to mentorship group. That's effectively throwing money at a problem if that mentorship group is approved by the mainstream media, because nothing effective and truthful and real.
I don't know about the mainstream media, but I know that group, again, job training, creating economic opportunities, building character, more morals and values. That's what it's going to turn this thing around. Not getting on the internet and lying and stereotyping and denigrating.
Which is a caricature of what we do here. And I know that you're talking about another
100%.
show, not just mine.
What you do.
What we do here. But thank you for the nicey nice headline, Joe.
Nice. It's just reality. It's just facts, James.
All right.
Just facts.
Well, I wish you well, man. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. What a mess. Joe is like the positive black headlines version of that other guy, the black guy from California, Tony, who calls in with the negative anti-white headlines smearing the whites. Joe's propping up the blacks, Tony's smearing the whites. And maybe we'll get equality that way. What a mess. That's the kind of things that's going to turn things around, because these organizations haven't been throwing resources at the underprivileged forever, says Asmodor, laughing a lot. Yeah, indeed. Anyway, I'm going to get to William in California up next. But first, let me tell you about this little story about Kentucky. Those liberals can't let a crisis go to waste, Fox News reports. Liberals use the deadly tornadoes to attack Republicans on quote-unquote climate change, which, I don't know, has anybody real said that this is because of the climate mess, the man-made climate mess? These people are causing the problems that they're pretending to try to solve. I have some screenshots of a bunch of tweets from Jamel Hill, Eric Swalwell, and this climate change story about Kentucky. Because Kentucky has had like 100 people die. Maybe more, maybe less. And some other places too. I reported it in Hake News. Other states in the Midwest and elsewhere lost a lot of people. It's a shame. Illinois, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee. Terrible, huh? December tornadoes is definitely climate change. Psh, whatever. So this evil woman who wrote or talked on some ESPN type program, Jamel Hill, a total white-hating, evil black female, right? Relatively light-skinned black, too, by the way, which means she's more radical because she's overcompensating because she's not black enough. She tweeted and she quote tweets a radical homosexual outlet, Raw Story. We know Rand Paul is a heartless hypocrite. The people in Kentucky deserve the relief regardless of their buffoonish leadership. But if Democrats don't use this against him and his party in the future, it is a missed opportunity. And Raw Story, the radical homosexual outlet, Raw Story is a radical homosexual outlet, by the way, if you're not aware. It says, Rand Paul begs Biden for federal aid to Kentucky tornado victims after a career of voting no when others needed the same. And then Eric Swalwell, that guy who dated a China woman, spy woman, evil guy. I think he allegedly dated her. I don't know. He had an interesting relationship with her, but she came out to being a spy, and he's a dumb Democrat. Simp. We should do all we can to help our Kentucky neighbors. And he quote tweets Rand Paul, God be with them. He's invoking God? Give me a break. They are hurting. But do not for 1 second forget that Rand Paul has voted against helping most Americans in their time of need. And he spelled it there. They are in need. Whatever. Oh, maybe they are in need. Whatever. Our hearts are broken for all those suffering from last night's terrible storms, stated on Twitter Senator Rand Paul. I and my team will do all we can to assist local and state officials as they lead the immediate response and will aggressively help families, businesses, and officials access recovery resources. Mark Ruffalo tweeted out, this is what the climate catastrophe hashtag looks like. Mark Ruffalo, if you're not familiar already, he is an actor, and he is a total coward, simp, kiss up to women. He pretended to be like somewhat smart on abortion for a second or something. I don't know. He's like a evil person. He plays Hulk, and he plays Hulk as just a total beta simp, pathetic person. He's one of those people who will make a Marvel movie, which I don't think I've ever enjoyed a Marvel movie. Make it all the worse. Because he's such an SJW, and you see his face, and you know and you think about his tweets. So that's what I do anyway. What a coward. Anyway, this is what hashtag climate catastrophe looks like. Talking about up to 100 feared dead in Kentucky. Tweeting out a foreign outlet, The Guardian. This guy's supposed to be an American. Mark Ruffalo. Is he an Italian? Shaking my head. It's only going to get worse from here, Mark Ruffalo tweets, as if he knows what the heck he's talking about. Now is time for our suffering. Now it's time to fight for our suffering and despairing youth. Whatever that means. Oh, yeah, because the young people are going to suffer it even worse. Phony person. And there's this, I have no idea what this woman is, Rachel Vindeman, but she's a blue check mark on Twitter. And she said, climate change, what does it look like? And she said, this is absolutely heartbreaking. It's a direct result of climate change. And she's claiming that this Mayfield, Kentucky disaster, in which a bunch of people died, is a direct result of climate change. I know it's tempting to scream, yell, and question why people are so slow to accept reality, but we must have conversations with skeptics, this evil woman said. Rachel Vindeman. Probably not a Christian, by the way. Are any of these people? So you can see some of the destruction of. I saw some. I don't have it for you, but I saw some drone footage. Wow, it is crazy. Just tore apart the place. Give me earthquakes. No, I don't know. Actually, don't say that. What a mess, though, huh? And so this other woman, Noelle Scovell, on Twitter tweeted, sorry, Kentucky, maybe if your two senators hadn't spent decades blocking legislation to reduce climate change, yeah, that would have done it, evil woman. You wouldn't be suffering from climate disasters. If it's any consolation, Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul have effed over all of us, too, this vulgar woman tweeted. And she went on, tie FEMA aid to U.S. senators from the state's vote to tax carbon, stop fracking, support solar, and address climate change. And she capitalizes climate change. No federal cleanup funds for people who have helped create the disaster, speculates this evil, stupid woman who has no idea what she's talking about. And then she deleted those two tweets, right? Because she wanted to hang FEMA funds over the heads of these people. My tweet has been twisted into something it's not. My hate, she says, and she does admit she has hate, is directed toward the senators from Kentucky who have endangered all of our lives with their reckless denial of science and toadying to corporate interests. Prayers. Oh, yeah, she prays. Prayers for the people of Kentucky. This woman, if you're not familiar, which I was not familiar, Noelle Scovell. Usually Noelle, I think, is a man's name. It means Christmas. She's a she-her on Twitter. And she is a Muppets writer. Her credits include The Simpsons, NCIS, Charmed, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And she's on Twitter running her big dumb mouth, right? Except she's tweeting, right? Typing or using her fingers. Using her big dumb fingers or little dumb fingers, whatever they are. Prayers for the people of Kentucky who are suffering along with so many others. If you're hating the senators from Kentucky, you're hating everyone because you're full of hate, evil woman. Not buying anyone lecturing me how innocent people died but don't support gun control. So this woman outs herself. She supports both gun control and climate change legislation. So in other words, she supports total destruction because gun control means more death. More guns, less crime. Look it up. It's a book by the great Dr. John R. Lott. This woman is ignorant. She needs to sit down and shut up. And climate change is communism, globalist socialism. So anyway, Andy Beshear. Beshear, is that how you say his name? Governor Andy Beshear is of Kentucky, right? And what is he? He's a Democrat. Oh, okay, so that makes more sense. I thought he was a Republican. Andy Beshear, he's on December 11th. That's this past Saturday. We believe our death toll from this event will exceed 50 Kentuckians, possibly end up closer to 70 to 100 lost lives. Probably more than that already, who knows. Look at this guy. He's like a young man, youngish man, with a, in the upper left or right corner, to his left, it has a woman. I'm showing a screenshot of him talking, right? Wearing a jacket, talking. He looks like a youngish man. And he's a Democrat. How embarrassing. A male Democrat. Pfft. And he has a woman doing the sign language thing. He said, remember, each of us is children of God, irreplaceable to their families and their communities. This guy said, why is a Democrat invoking God? I guess in the South, some people are still like leftover Democrats. They still somewhat believe in God. But I don't think this guy live in the real world and see reality. They don't believe in God. We will make it through this. We will rebuild. We are a strong, resilient people, he said. I hate it when these people, well, I don't hate it, but it's so stupid when these people say, strong, we are strong. I saw a sign after that Oxford shooting, Oxford strong, or strong with an O for Oxford, this name of the school where that school shooting was over in Michigan the other week or a few weeks ago, referring to that high school shooting. Whatever place that has death and destruction, they call themselves Newtown Strong, like Newtown, Connecticut, where they had the other school shooting. That's not strength. That's weak. That's weak. That's female. And then later, I saw this headline just today shared by Yahoo News, right? I'm not doing so well today, he says. And he says that 105 people remain unaccounted for, 64 confirmed deaths. And this is a headline from Yahoo News. I'm not doing so well today. Stupid male Democrat. Embarrassing. Talking like a woman. What's going on in the world? Shameful. Let me get to William in California. William, how are you doing?
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Hake?
Doing fine. Thank you, sir.
That's good. Hey, what's in the news? Well, what is new? It's not even news anymore.
I know,
We got somebody that got killed in Texas, a home invasion. He was black. All three of them. One gets killed laying in the street.
So he was a home invader?
Yeah.
Shot and killed.
Then we got the fathers being arrested in Round Rock, Texas, disputing the school thing, the CRT and everything. And Round Rock's a pretty conservative little town. I used to live there. It's a really nice place and everything. And the parents are just standing up for their kids and saying they don't want that garbage in their schools. But I want to point something out to you that, I don't like attacking your other callers and everything because it's your show.
Right.
But you were accused in a slick way of calling Tony in California the N-word. You slipped and didn't really listen to that?
Right.
You said he was stupid. And
Right.
Did you just call me the N-word?
Right. I said dummy, and he thought I said dumb N-word.
And he knew you didn't say that.
Right. He's a liar.
That was so Jussie Smollett. That was just so just like what he did with,
Right.
That is total. That was, hey, Tony, that was totally Democratic, totally liberal, and totally gay.
Right.
That was totally gay what he did. Now, see, if
And
you
on
were
top
to
of that,
call him that,
who cares if I had?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because if you actually, it could have started a lot of trouble for your show. If you
Right.
it'd have been a big uproar.
I know.
He knows that.
Because a lot of people get banned
he
for
did the same thing.
Yeah, people get banned for saying the F word for the homosexuals.
Same thing with Jeremiah. Jeremiah thinks that you can get on the air and threaten people. You can't do that.
Right.
Man.
Yeah.
You don't know the law.
Or have death
maybe
wishes
you
on
don't.
people.
Maybe you don't know the law because you're Israelite. You don't believe in laws. You believe in diplomatic immunity and all that garbage. But yeah, he tried to insinuate that you called him the N word and everything, and I thought that was kind of gay. You know,
Right.
but why would you do that?
Yeah.
That was hateful.
Yeah.
Totally hateful, and that's what blacks are doing now.
Yeah.
Everywhere they go, they're the victim.
Right.
Don't you get tired of being the victim?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, do they really get tired of being the victim? I mean, let's just really ask that question. Every day we look on the news, and blacks are the worst acting people in the country right now.
Yeah.
And you don't like me because I say it, but you know what? I'm black. I'm supposed to look at my backyard.
Yeah. Everybody is supposed
taking responsibility.
Blacks are in our backyard too, thanks to this diversity stuff. So we're supposed to call it out too. What, we're supposed to be quiet just because we're not black? Give me a break.
No, you're supposed to stand up to them.
We're Americans.
You're American, and I think what Jussie said is absolutely true.
Yeah.
When we were under Jim Crow law, the black family actually cared more about their children.
Right.
And their families, and their communities. They don't have that anymore. And I've seen Jussie on a different show. It was actually Jessie's cousin or nephew. You got to look at that, man. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Nick sent
they were
that
so
to me.
beta that they were giggling, and I don't even know if they even believed in what they were even talking about. And Jussie was just sitting there looking there taking it.
Right.
You know... that was like his cousin or something, you know, and he's, I don't know.
Yeah. I found that. I'll share it to the chat. Mind your own business. The title of this
Mind Your Own Business.
is Mind Your Own Business with DJB. I think that might be his cousin.
That is his cousin.
Episode 13 with Jussie Lee Peterson.
Yeah, that's his
I'll
cousin.
share that.
He got about 13 people following him.
I don't know.
Yeah,
they got
that's
10.
his cousin.
View Park has 10,000 subscribers, but there's an old adage. This is their disclaimer: you can't pick your family. And today, there's no better proof than DJB bringing his first cousin, the polarizing Jussie Lee Peterson, to the MYOB Mind Your Own Business HQ headquarters. Buckle in this one. It's a doozy.
Yeah.
None of the views of Jussie Lee Peterson are held by Mind Your Own Business, View Park Records, or Smart Not Hard Productions. He is on that island by himself, says this podcast host creator thing. What a mess.
Totally gay.
Embarrassing.
Totally gay.
Yeah, it
Totally
really
gay.
is.
And that was gay. And I seen Jeremiah try to sneak back in this morning through Jesse. He said, hey, man, don't try to get the Hake
Right.
through me. You know?
Yeah.
But, Tony, I would hope you call in today because you were a liar.
Yeah.
You were a
Typical.
liar.
I mean, he does that every time he calls in, honestly. He lies every time he calls in, and then he says, you all lie every day.
No, that was a lie what
Yeah.
he did. And it was actually malicious
Yep.
and
True.
totally gay.
All right, we get it.
G-A-Y-E-E-E. Gay.
You're going to get me banned for, because that's considered hate speech, because you're casting
There
gay
ain't no
as
hate
something
speech
negative.
Because, see, I'm going to stand up to them. See, I go around. I don't even sit up there and
Yeah, I
bow
know.
down for the people. You know what I'm saying? Hey, no, you're not going to make me think that by you being weird, that I'm weird.
All right, man, I
See,
got it.
I remember the good old days. I remember the good old days when we just used to just say, hey, man, get out of my way, sissy.
Right. Well, thank you, William. I appreciate it, man. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Before I get to Jonathan up in Palo Alto, California, and the Super Chats, guys, you can Super Chat. I see it. I see him coming in. Appreciate that one, Asmodor. He turned his comment, which I read, into a Super Chat. Speaking of the Michigan school shooting, Michigan school shooting suspect, says Commie Nonsense Network, Ethan Crumbley, or however you pronounce that guy's name, Crumbley, is due in court today. Did you know that? He faces murder, assault, and weapons charges. All right, whatever. Really should just be murder and assault, because this is America. You can carry a gun. That in a rampage that killed 4 students. He also faces 1 count of terrorism, causing death. A rare charge for a school shooting. It's not just rare. It's the first one ever, I think. The 15-year-old white male, I think he's white, I don't know, who pleaded not guilty to all charges, will be tried as an adult. And I think I don't know, you typically, if the defense attorneys don't really know their angle yet, they'll plead not guilty just for starters, and then I don't know why he pleaded not guilty, but I guess you're not supposed to plead guilty. You're supposed to try to get a deal or something. I don't know. Michael Tracy, that independent liberal journalist on Twitter, and he's on Substack, and he's also on that same platform, I will remind you, as JLP, Rockfin. You know, Jesse Lee Peterson has different videos up on Rockfin, and you pay, I think you guys can pay like $10 a month and get access to everything on Rockfin, something like that. Well, if you sign up for JLP Rockfin, you can also catch what this guy's streams say, the private ones. Anyway, here's a headline from Michael Tracy. Progressive prosecutors, he's appeared on the Jesse Lee Peterson show before, by the way. Progressive prosecutors, which is another word for like evil, cackling Kamala Harris. She was perhaps actually, maybe she wasn't even a progressive prosecutor, but she's a communist, right? She's an enemy of America. And she shouldn't have been senator or even vice president, of course. Much less, right? Progressive prosecutors, he put that in quotes, are invoking terrorism to expand state power and advance their political ambitions. That's what Michael Tracy alleges. And he explains it. I don't know if it's an allegation, if he presents some evidence, right? Circumstantial, anyway. Karen McDonald of Oakland County, Michigan, is the female prosecutor charging this school shooter with terrorism. No other school shooter that I know of has ever been charged with terrorism. And I was like, maybe he had motives like, because normally terrorism is with a religious, so-called fake religious, like the Islamic stuff, or political motivation, right? Terrorism. You want to start a race war. I guess you could consider what Dylan Roof did terrorism, I guess, because in his misguided thing, he wanted to start a race war. I guess you could call it that, although he wasn't part of any group. They tried to lump him in with the Council of Conservative Citizens, but they're not for that. Give me a break. They document black on white crime like they would really want a white on black crime to mess with the numbers. Give me a break. Like they really wish ill on anybody. Nope, it's not true. But anyway, that's an attack on whites. And this is too, I think. Respectable media outlets put out explainers describing this as a novel approach, calling this school shooting terrorism. No U.S. school shooting had ever, according to Michael Tracy, been officially declared terrorism before. So now this is trailblazing. And a progressive prosecutor, I will remind you, those are the people who want to let people get away with crimes. Nonviolent offenders especially, who get out and start committing murders, which looks bad for them, so they probably don't exactly want that, but they also don't really mind a certain amount of chaos. Jesse Lee Peterson, if you're not aware, he had an excellent monologue at the beginning of the JLP show today, talking about how they want to break you. They want to drive you nuts, make you angry with this evil insanity going on in the world. Let the criminals out, and then bash you for not having a mask or a vaccination or a booster or whatever. All kinds of stuff. If you jaywalk, they're going to prosecute you. But if you are camped out on the street and pooping in the street and doing drugs on the street, you're a victim. Fake stuff, right? Announcing this terrorism charge, this evil woman, Kerrigan McDonald, progressive prosecutor, meaning communist, right? Declared that it had been filed on behalf of the entire community. And she explained it, if that isn't terror, I don't know what is. Again, terrorism is usually violence with a political motivation, right? And the stuff that the terrorist acts that you do, the ACLU pointed out way back in 2002 when they were against the conservatives, right? But they're not against this one because it's against whites. They said, most of the stuff all the stuff that you do under the umbrella of terrorism is already illegal anyway. So you're just expanding the punitive powers of the state in a dramatic fashion, is what Michael Tracy writes. This McDonald woman, 15-year-old boy who expressed no political motives, as far as the evidence has shown. He's belonged to no political organization, according to the available evidence. He was caught drawing ominous pictures in class the morning of the shooting, including one of a murder and the scribbled words, "Help me," and "My life is useless." Sounds like a real terrorist to me, right? I quoted a New York Slimes article the other week a couple of times where he complained that his thoughts won't stop. Reminds me of what JLP says about the thoughts. They're evil. Karen McDonald had the ability to bring this novel charge thanks to the terrorism statute that Michigan enacted after 9/11/2001, enacted in 2002. Back when the anti-terrorism laws were being debated in the state in 2002, ACLU of Michigan warned we should resist the temptation to enact proposals in the mistaken belief that anything that may be called anti-terrorist will necessarily provide greater security. Every now and then a blind squirrel, like the evil ACLU communists, a blind squirrel finds a nut, right? They also mentioned the redundancy of the new statute criminalizing terrorism. Any conceivable terrorist act in Michigan already easily prosecutable with existing laws, like I just told you. Murder, conspiracy, assault. Michael Tracy contacted ACLU of Michigan. No comments. No material on their website or social media since the shooting of November 30th. Plenty of time to give their take on student debt being racist, though, a racial justice issue. Remember that Fed setup? Speaking of terrorism, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, that evil woman who shamelessly got drunk at a college football game and then bragged about it in a pretending apology, all shameless and nasty. Vicious, and even put out a photo of herself. Have some shame, woman. Well, she's a lesbian, a radical, evil person, a Trump hater, by the way. She testified before Congress earlier this year, demanding new federal anti-terrorism statute modeled on the one in Michigan. Michigan has a robust array of laws to address domestic terrorism. Many states and federal prosecutors do not. To fully combat domestic terrorism across the country, and that's an attack on whites, let's be honest. This woman is not a Christian, and she hates white people. Anti-Christian, honestly. She is a marriage equality person, and she said that, or at least the Times of Israel said that her Judaism influences her social justice push. What an evil woman. Dana Nessel, Michigan Attorney General. She previously brought state terrorism charges to that kidnapping plot. Remember that kidnapping plot? Oh, those Trump supporters wanted to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, right-wing militias. A judge tossed out her terrorism charges, though. Evidence is mounted that there was elaborate FBI involvement, feds, orchestrating the entrapment-heavy scheme. What a mess, huh? Ridiculous. Let me get to Jonathan, meanwhile, talking about actual crime up in Palo Alto, California. Jonathan, thank you for calling. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, James?
Going well. Thank you for holding.
Yeah. So I've been kind of holding on to this one for a good little minute, but you remember when there was that Philadelphia train rape thing? And
yeah, the SEPTA train, right?
Yeah. So,
and you know what? That's the same place. To briefly interrupt you, that's the same place where those black girls were attacking the Asian girls, beating on them. And then one of the mothers said that was not racist, but I saw that and I turned my daughter in. But it was not racist. We teach equality in our home. Ridiculous.
Right,
equality is hatred.
Based, actually. Of course, it's not racist, right? But
yeah.
Definitely wrong. Yeah.
Yep. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
So that story, when you started talking about it, I'm like, okay, Joe Kenyon's gonna call in and say, stop talking about black people. I already knew it.
He said, you're lying and denigrating blacks. It's not the way.
Yeah.
And we will get to your calls, guys. Hang tight. Yeah, man.
And sure enough, he calls in right away. Hey, stop talking about black people. But if you remember, you didn't say he was black. You said you thought he was Asian. His name, he had like one of those Nguyen last names.
Right.
You didn't even say anything about him being black. And even like the way you described that story, it wasn't even about a rape. It was about people not doing anything about the rape.
Right.
And you didn't talk about the color of those people either.
Right.
So I just want to point out to this Joe guy that it's him who's obsessed with race. And also, if he calls himself a lawyer, he thinks it's illegal to yell fire in a movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
But
just because some Supreme Court justice made that claim, you can't do that.
No, it is legal.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's legal, perfectly legal to do that. And he thinks it's illegal.
Yeah.
But he's calling himself a lawyer, so I would not want to be represented by him.
I don't know if he's called him. He said that he went to law school.
Okay.
That's a distinction. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
But still, you're right. Interesting point. I had not considered that. Just because some Supreme Court justice or stupid Supreme Court says Roe v. Wade, the courts do not make laws. Ridiculous.
Yeah, they were like they were talking about making it illegal back in like the 50s, but they said no, it's legal. That would be an infringement on the First Amendment.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's just one more thing that this guy's wrong about.
Yeah.
So let's let him know there. And then I just wanted to say shout out to the chat and all that. I got banned from your chat.
Oh, really? What's your username? I'm curious.
Red-blooded Republican Trump supporter.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Try to avoid annoying the mods.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's over. I can't even chat anymore.
I can go in or somebody can go in and probably me unban you.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I know
so
why
just
I got myself banned.
Oh, okay, so you know why. All right. Well, then don't do that again.
Hate watcher get to me a bit, too much. So
okay.
So I found out that banning the hate watchers in the chat is more than a notion. Really, for me, it's just like don't give them any attention. It's
because
they just say some of the most wildest crap just constantly, just
Right.
flooding the feed with like. So I was just letting it get to me like a beta.
Okay. Well, thank you, man.
But,
Appreciate that. If
yeah,
I
man.
have the time, and if I have the wild hair, I shall unban you. And then
That
Nemo
would be amazing.
wants to be unbanned from JLP. Everybody's asking. I
Oh,
feel
right.
like Bruce Wayne in the cartoon, the Batman the animated series. Some guy, some homeless guy goes up to him and puts his hand on his shoulder and puts his hand up, and so he gives him some cash, and then he starts getting inundated with all the homeless people asking him for cash, and then he looks down all sad and forlorn.
Because everybody's asking you to get unbanned.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Anyway, man, I appreciate it, Jonathan.
Right on, man. Yep. Great show.
All right.
Great show.
Take care.
Alrighty. See you.
Bye. Before I get back to calls, guys, we're at several minutes till the top of the hour. I want to tell you, did you hear about this evil Santa Inc. actress woman, I guess that's redundant. Sarah Silverman, not a Christian, an anti-Christian, honestly. She, I played that vulgar bleep-ridden, I bleeped it out a lot, Santa Inc. movie in which there's this silly dwarf woman or whatever she is, all upset. It's a cartoon or a computer animated or something like that. All upset that Santa Claus has always been white. Because according to Brandon M., he was Greek. And then the Germans started the Santa Claus tradition thing. Santa Inc. equals satanic. Wow, good catch, Misty8976. Shout out to the D Live crew. And by the way, Radulaser says, not white. Shout out to the Twitch crew. You Facebook people listening to? I think so. Sarah Silverman, evil woman. Before I get back to calls, Fox News reports Sarah Silverman slams Joy Reid. It's Joy Ann Reid, the evil black female talk host on MSDNC, as the media panics about Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' proposed civilian military force in Florida. So this Joy Reid woman, evil, we've covered her on my show. You've probably seen her on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Just a sick black female, radical, anti-white. She once had a blog post in which, way back, in which she criticized the homosexuals. And then she said, I was hacked. What a phony. Because she couldn't stand by what she said, which was probably truer back then than what she says today. So she shared this CNN article and called it fascisty and bananas. In the CNN article dated December 2nd, DeSantis proposes a new civilian military force in Florida that he would control, not the president. Well, it wasn't until the fourth paragraph, according to Fox News, that CNN acknowledged that Florida would be the 23rd state to establish such a force. So it's not this rare thing. It's not a scary fascisty thing. Whatever is fascist, scary, I don't even know. The commies are much worse right now. Sarah Silverman tweeted at Joy Reid, though, in response, and I have the tweet. She wrote something like, please read the article before you post this stuff. You're a news outlet. The truth has to matter. What's Sarah Silverman, an anti-Christian, a feminist, talking about the truth has to matter? But, you know, I guess every now and then, like an intellectual, like a lot of these, like her, she's Silverman. I think she's Jewish. A lot of the Jewish intellectuals, they like to say factual stuff and then deceive you with facts, right? So she wants to say the truth has to matter because Joy Ann Reid is just so off the deep end, pretending that this has never happened before when it has happened before a lot. So anyway, they went after her because she told a black woman to please read. And so I saw this from Jewish Deplorable on Twitter. He shared this video. Apparently she has this Sarah Silverman woman. She's a comedian, actress, dumb, evil, anti-Christian woman. I covered it already. Santa Inc. Satanic. And here she is on her podcast. I didn't know she had a podcast. Maybe I should start a podcast. No, I'm kidding. I already have one. Sarah Silverman on the backlash over calling out Joy Reid. I did not criticize Joyanne because she's black, but because she's a Harvard-educated journalist with responsibility, ideally, of showing the whole picture. Listen to this. Sarah Silverman complaining about the backlash she got, including from the cackling hens at The View. Listen to this.
Own side. We can't even critique anyone in your own party without punishment. One of the hosts of The View was like, what hubris for Sarah Silverman to accuse a black woman of not reading. Oi, Jesus H, what the...
Whoa.
I surrender.
Oh, sorry, kids.
Good grief.
Sorry, parents.
I don't want any trouble. I cannot believe I need to say this, but I did not criticize Joyanne because she's black.
I forgot she
But
cusses.
because she's a Harvard-educated journalist with the responsibility, ideally, of showing the whole picture and not just a piece of a picture.
Sorry, kids. Sorry, parents. I forgot this vulgar woman cusses. Where is my mind? Way out in the water, sent swimming. The entire Twitter saga has made Sarah Silverman want to completely change how she consumes media. Joyanne, like so many of our favorites on these... Favorites? What? On these 24-hour news channels is both a journalist and a political commentator, she said. But where do we just get the plain old news? I need a news outlet that's just the facts. Something I can draw my own opinion. That'd be so nice. I'd like to draw my own conclusions sometimes. Talking like a white. Trying to pretend like she's a white, right? Sarah Silverman then doubled down over her disbelief that she, a Democrat, this is according to Mediaite, received flack for going after a fellow Democrat. You criticize anything in your own party, you're the enemy. And that kind of black on white thinking on both sides, obviously I'm on the left. That's what I care about. It's such a turnoff to me. It feels very not liberal to me. It feels very right-wingish. Sit down and shut up, woman. The commies are the ones shutting everybody down. Idiot. She's such a nasty woman. Indeed, M.R. Jennings. Correct. Yeah, Lindy. Woman comedians. Psh, stop apologizing, Hake, says Robert Lee. I know, but she said the F word. Talk about a vulgar woman on a podcast. Typical. Anyway, we are at the top of the hour. I'm going to get back to your calls and everything else, guys. I have super chats to read and some other silly women to get to. J.K. Rowling. And she's going after the transgenders, and she's kind of correct. And a little Jussie Smollett melodrama clip and other things. But, and actually, I have a Nancy Mace clip. And it shows that she's a mixed bag lady. And I use the term lady loosely. And I purposely said bag lady. Get it? Nancy Mace, a RINO female Republican in Congress, single mom. I went after her last week and maybe the week before too. But she knocked down the voting rights thing, but she also propped up this fake racism idea. What a sick woman. But before all of that, guys, let me share with you some more Christmas music. Yes, Christmas is coming up in the next couple of weeks here or so. And I have some music that I'm excited to share with you. I think you might even enjoy it, some of you. If you can get past the soft voice, male-voiced, indie rock feel of it, I guess, whatever you want to call it. This is from Sufjan. Is it Sufjan? Sufjan? Sufjan Stevens. Hark, Songs for Christmas. From around 2003. This is before the 2006 release. And each year he would give his friends a few Christmas songs that he put together and played. Some of them original, most of them not. And so here's one. O come, Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God with us. Talking about Jesus, the Son of God, coming into earth. Very nice. I hope you enjoy it, and hang tight for hour 2. Thanks, guys.
sing, come and cheer. Our spirits by thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice.
This singer could use a cigarette habit. Not very cheerful. I like it though. It's not his worst song.
O come, thou Lord of might, who to thy tribes on Sinai's height,
More rubbish.
in ancient times didst give the law,
Oh no, not Sufjan Stevens.
in cloud and majesty and awe.
But it's a nice Christmas song, guys.
Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Rejoice.
Put some bass in your voice, boy. Too much soy, says Chris Anderson. Hake's playing his music? All right, I'm out. This ain't bad. Has actual singing. And is that a banjo? Some super chats for you guys. For me, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Your girlfriend says, I like when Hake points at the camera. Makes us feel involved as part of the show. Thumbs up. Nice. Appreciate that, your girlfriend. That's over there on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com / at the Hake Report. Laud Bibby 42 with a couple of super chats here. Partially inappropriate. Hake, Mark Ruffalo is a total beta. He looks like he enjoys, I dare not repeat this, getting something by, I can't even repeat the last part. But thank you, Laud Bibby 42. Laud Bibby 42. Caller William is always spot on, he states with another super chat on streamlabs.com / the Hake Report. I forgot about that call from Tony. Bring back shame and shame Tony, that big dummy. What a big old dum-dum. Am I right? Thank you, Laud Bibby 42. Appreciate that. And thank you, guys. That Sufjan Stevens guy. Somebody said the banjo is an exclusively white instrument. Is that true? Yeah, he's a liberal. I remember reading online. He talked about, oh, can I be a liberal and a Christian? All musicians are liberals. It's a fact. Just dumb liberals. Don't belong opening their mouth about anything other than just singing a nice song. All of them. All. Except for that one Asmodor rap song. Nice. All right, let me get to Jeremiah in Louisiana. He's on the line. What's up, Jeremiah? It says, well, what's up, Jeremiah?
They say, what? That I wanted to apologize?
Yeah, you wanted to apologize?
Yeah, so I apologize for you being made of Play-Doh and all your followers being fragile. Y'all fragile. So that's what I apologize for. Now, can we get on?
So you're apologizing for being a bit explicit with the violent fantasies to the audience, which probably doesn't... Probably most of the audience does not really like hearing these violent fantasies.
Well, if you take it literal, how can I literally rip your heart out and eat it, Hank?
I would advise you.
Are we really gonna
do you want to be
Are you
Jeremiah?
really that stupid?
Jeremiah, would you like to be back accepted as for calling onto the show?
I just apologized, didn't I?
You did, but you didn't
Can we
apologize
move
for the specific thing.
Can we move forward now?
So that's it. I'm taking that as a yes. I'm taking that as a yes.
That?
He's apologizing.
I apologize.
All right. I accept your apology.
All right, good. So now.
Wow, Jeremiah's back on the show.
It's been a minute.
What's that?
It's been a minute. It's been a long time.
I would advise you, though, not to repeat the thing that got you banned in the first place.
I'm not going to repeat that. I know you made a Play-Doh. I'm not. You saw, so I'm not going to repeat that.
All right.
All right, cool.
Play-Doh's cool.
I heard one day you said something about the Ahmaud Arbery case, right?
Yeah, I've talked about that.
I'm just going to say something about this real quick, and then I'm going to go to what I want to talk about. But you said they almost got away with it. Like, they almost got away with it. The dude was retired. He retired cop and all that, and now he got to go to prison for life.
I know.
Ain't God good? Look at God.
You said, isn't God good? Look at God?
Yeah. How you said he almost got away with it? Like, what does that mean?
That means
they almost got away with it?
Yeah, they almost got away with that self-defense killing in the midst of a botched attempted citizen's arrest. Because
self-defense killing, huh?
Yeah, if you look at it, let's say that a man was foolish enough to attack another man who was foolish enough to try to citizens arrest him. All right, and what is that man with the gun supposed to do when another man attacks him? They
were supposed to call the police in the first place.
They did call the police.
What is a citizen's arrest?
A citizen's arrest? You don't know what a citizen's arrest is?
No, that's what. Has anybody ever successfully done a citizen's arrest?
Yeah.
I think not.
Oh yeah, no, it's happened.
Well, whatever you say, Hank. They could have followed him though, and that would have been probably the best solution, right? Just to tail him until the police, until the real authorities got there to arrest him.
Maybe that's an interesting suggestion.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But they going to prison for life, so ain't God good. Now,
I don't know.
This Russia and Ukraine thing, right?
Why you have such malice towards these guys?
I don't have no malice. They had malice towards him.
How do you know?
They could have followed him. They could have followed him, but instead they decided to take matters into their own hands and have a shotgun. Go approach him with a shotgun.
This is America. You can do that.
So you think that's conducive to America?
Yeah.
You can do that?
Especially
you can do that.
Especially in places where they've had crime problems, break-ins, and this guy has been known to them for several weeks now, or for some weeks.
The police?
No, they're holding him. They're supposed to hold him for the police to get there.
Hold him.
Yeah.
Which means they could tail him and tell the real authorities
apprehend him and hold him there,
so that they can come apprehend him.
Right.
They have no point. They have no reason to apprehend somebody. All they can do is hold him until the.
That's what apprehending is. Apprehend and hold him until the cops get there.
They did it all wrong. If anybody got approached with a shotgun, it's either you're gonna stay there or you're gonna fight. He chose to fight, and that's what happened.
Right.
Now he's dead, and they're going to jail. Now everybody's like, no, right?
Yeah, what a shame, huh?
Now,
he chose to die.
He chose to die, and they chose to go to jail for life. That's cool.
They didn't.
FYI, everything worked out.
They didn't choose to go to jail for life.
They chose that when they came with that shotgun. That's
honestly, this was a lynch mob against whites because they were white.
Yeah, it's no lynch mob.
Yeah, it is.
Now you start to sound fragile again, Hank.
Fragile and proud.
Y'all need to pull yourself
fragile
up
and
in
proud.
Bootstraps because it ain't none of that attack on white people going on. Man.
Oh yeah, there is.
It's just like it's not an attack on black people, right? There's no such thing. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, there is.
Anyways, how?
How is there an attack on blacks and whites?
So attack on black people don't exist, right?
Of course there is.
So attacking black people exists?
Yeah, of course.
So that does exist.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
okay.
not the ones that you guys point out, because you guys point out to the ones where whites are defending themselves against blacks or whatever. But there's an attack on blacks, and your evidence that the attack has been successful.
What the illegals coming in.
You and your mindset.
That's the attack on blacks.
Your mindset is evidence that the attack has been successful. The spiritual attack on blacks
is the illegals coming in, right?
That's part of it, of course. But the illegals are not why your mind is messed up.
How is my mind messed up? Why is my mind messed up?
Because of your hatred.
Hatred for who?
Hatred for everybody.
For everybody?
Yeah.
I just said I love Jussie. I don't love you. Just because.
Did you hear JLP? Yeah, he was on the Jussie Lee Peterson.
For us to love you.
Just to explain to the audience, Jeremiah was on the Jussie Lee Peterson show today. He called in and Jeremiah mentioned me. Well, little old me. And Jeremiah said that he loves Jussie but not Hake. And then Jussie said after you hung up, because you hung up on Jussie, that you can't love Jussie if you don't love Hake.
How? Why?
Because love means you have a heart of love and not hatred. So you love everybody.
You love pedophiles, Hank. You might love pedophiles because you look at 14-year-old girls.
I don't look at 14-year-old girls. Now you're just making up stuff. Now you're just making up stuff.
Tyrannical government officials.
Hold on. Now you're just making up stuff.
How?
You just made up something that I look at little girls. I don't do that.
You did say you 14-year-old girls.
I never said that.
Little girls.
I never said that.
All right, Hank. Okay, you never said it.
So now you're a liar.
Anyway,
are you going to apologize for lying?
All right. Okay, Hank. Okay. Whatever you said that day about 14-year-old
Are you a man
girls,
of truth?
That's whatever.
Are you a man of truth?
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. Then apologize for lying.
Apologize for lying?
Yeah.
What did I lie about? That you look at 14-year-old girls?
Yeah, of course. Why would you keep on repeating that? Do you want to be banned? Do you want to be banned again for lying?
Girls, how would you know that they're not little girls and that they don't look like 14-year-old girls?
What the heck are you talking about? Now you're going crazy.
How would you say that?
Goodbye, Jeremiah.
Okay, you don't.
All right. What a mess. Jeremiah about to get banned again. No, I won't ban him for that. But that is ridiculous. It's getting disgusting. Humungus, whatever, says something about Planned Parenthood. Not good. Not good. No, I think that it's a messed up family is why, maybe the way he was raised is why he has so much hatred. And blind and caught up. People get into the strangest things and make it their mission in life, and they think that they're an Israelite, or they think that they're a community organizer, or they think that they are a podcast host, or whatever. Yeah, Malkuth X says, Hake clarified what he said about girls. Exactly. Thank you, Malkuth X. Yeah, he asked me the question, and I was able to clarify it. Because the snakes like to pretend that you say stuff that isn't true about you. Typical Me Too type stuff. Got a lot of super chats, guys. Let me read through some of these. Asmodor says, Jeremiah, quote, the chat don't think a violent threat be like they is, but it do. Referring to the violent stuff that he pushed out that got him banned. Every time people at a store, says Asmodor with the super chat over there on Odyssey, every time people at a store hold a thief for the police, that's a citizen's arrest. Yeah, that was what I was going to say. There was this former Marine guy who was a customer at this store, and I played the clip where these young whippersnappers come in holding the gun, one of them holding a gun, and the guy stands there, and then he drops his keys, and he pushes the gun away, and then punches the guy and holds him down until the cops show up. And then the other 2 or 3 guys, and I think that they were blacks, they were certainly teens, they ran off, but that guy was held. It was a citizen's arrest. Asmodor says, tell Jeremiah if he doesn't like getting citizens arrested, then don't go burglarizing in white neighborhoods. He's literally defending the alleged right of blacks to steal from whites. Yeah, he went into a private property. What a mess. Your girlfriend says in a super chat, in reference to Jeremiah, I'll give you the NIV. That's the New International Version. It's a liberal version, but it's what I read. I don't know, blame my mother, I guess. Which, whatever, at least it's a version of the Bible. In some cases, it's a bad version, but in other cases, it's okay. Titus 3:10 and 11. Warn a divisive person once, and then warn them a second time. After that, have nothing to do with them. You may be sure that such people are warped and sinful. They are self-condemned. Thank you, your girlfriend. Very nice super chat. Appreciate that. That was some super chats. Let me get to one more call. John in Kentucky. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing well.
Nice.
And good.
Right on. You're doing good in the world, huh?
I'm doing good for my family.
Okay.
But I'm here to take up for Jeremiah. I'm
All
on
right.
Jeremiah's side. I'm not on your side. And
I'm not surprised.
You did take the side of Jeffrey Epstein that time we had a conversation?
No, I took the side of... I took the side of that
Not the little
singer.
girls.
I Believe I Can Fly, the singer.
R. Kelly.
The black.
I'm not talking about R. Kelly.
I
I'm
was
not
talking about R. Kelly. And in fact, you were the one who brought him up. And I defended R. Kelly because R. Kelly has all these grown-looking females coming at him. And you well know that,
But I'm not talking about
black
R. Kelly,
daughters...
though. That's not what I called.
No. This is what you were talking about. You well
No,
know
I'm
that
talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
you well know that black daughters of single mothers with no fathers, they go through
Hey, man, you're
puberty.
changing the
They go
subject,
through
bro.
this is the subject. They go through puberty
No.
at a young age, and they
It's my
lie
question,
about their
Nate.
age and do all kinds of stuff. So you pretending?
Hey, it's my
anyway,
question.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it's my question.
All right.
You took the side of Jeffrey Epstein and you blamed it on those 14-year-old girls.
Nuh-uh.
When
I didn't take his
when
side
Epstein
when
was
I
the
blamed those
president.
girls.
Okay, so who's at fault in that situation?
Everyone.
The predator or the prey?
Both. The parents of the prey, because she was a runaway. This Virginia Roberts Giuffre.
It's not just one. It was like hundreds of those type girls.
Whatever.
And they were all like
Whatever,
the black girls.
John.
You were just
I
they
saw.
were just like
I
the
saw
black girls with no parents.
Hold on.
And like
Yeah, exactly.
lost in the world.
Virginia Roberts Giuffre goes in, and she, as a grown woman by a certain point, and she's over there training other little girls that she admits to, and then she pretends we women aren't going to let these men get away with it. So it's an attack on men, and she was part of.
Too, though.
She was a runaway. She had bad parents. You just admitted she had bad parents or no parents.
Yeah, but it
Ain't
wasn't
no
her fault.
yeah,
It was
but.
Epstein's fault. It was Epstein's fault. He had a system.
It wasn't Epstein's fault that she was for sale.
Yeah,
She sold herself.
It was Epstein's fault that he.
You don't even know what
like,
he actually did.
He had a pyramid scheme going with little kids, man. That's what he had going. He was a powerful guy.
I know he was a
had all
powerful
those-
guy. He did some
had
certain.
all those-
Some people did something, and now everybody wants to blame
not
the
not
Jeffrey
funny.
Epstein is a true Israelite, by the way.
Oh, be quiet, man. Come on, man.
He's your brother.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
But he had all those. He had all those rich Republicans in his back pocket.
Nuh-uh, he
all
had
those
Democrats. He was a
pedophiles.
Democrat donor. You're lying
He
now.
had Republicans.
Yeah,
He
there
had
were some
Trump.
Republicans.
He
Yeah.
had Trump also.
Trump was not doing that mess.
Yes, he was.
Why you?
Yes,
why?
he was.
So you're literally joining in to the false accusation mob. You should be ashamed of
Listen.
yourself.
Listen, let me paraphrase what
You're
Trump
literally
said.
jumping into the false accusation mob. You have zero evidence on Trump, and now you're just repeating
Let me paraphrase
stuff.
what Trump said. Can I paraphrase what Trump said?
Go ahead.
Trump says that he'd known Jeffrey Epstein for a long time, and they shared in common their love for young girls, is what he said. Young, beautiful women.
But he's talking about women.
Yes, 15, 16, and 17 years old.
No, you're putting words in his mouth. He never said 15, 16, 17 years old. Now you're lying.
He doesn't have to.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
We already know what Epstein likes, though.
But we know what Trump likes. He got with Melania.
How old was she?
She was young. She was a lot younger than him.
17.
Melania was not 17, you liar.
How much do you want to bet?
Melania was not 17 when Trump married her.
Trump was hosting those beauty pageants, and he had his own little thing going with these young girls coming. Now you're just making up stuff. You're throwing stuff on a wall. As a man, do you consider yourself a man? You got blinders
do you consider
on.
yourself a man?
Of course, I'm more of a man than you are.
Oh, okay, real manly to just make up stuff about another man. You're not going to do well in life.
Do you
smearing other men with zero evidence?
Do you consider yourself a man?
You're not going to do well in life smearing other men with zero evidence.
See, that's the thing with y'all system.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye, John.
Just because people can...
All right. What a mess. He was with her for 40 years? Asks Snow Goose. Yeah. Crazy. What a mess. Anyway. Ridiculous. Shame on the hate-filled black Hebrew Israelites. Asmodor says with the super chat. I read a bunch of super chats already from over in Jeremiah's call. But Asmodor says, I covered this on my show. These girls were getting paid and they knew what was going to happen and kept coming back anyway. Anyway, everyone to blame here. That's right. That's right. It's a sick, corrupt world. And in sick, corrupt worlds, they want to spread that child stuff, the homosexuality stuff, the sex out of wedlock stuff. Crazy. What a mess. Let me get to, speaking of false accusations and smears upon the whites, let me get to this Smollett compilation. Smollett. You guys remember Jussie Smollett? He's a radical homosexual black and misguided person. He falsely accused random imaginary white people of wearing MAGA hats and attacking him at 2 a.m. after he got out of a subway after flying into Chicago, Chi-Town, and they said, this is MAGA country, you F.A. fact, blip, get, empire N-word, N-G. Yeah, okay. These Trump-supporting whites, big fans of empire, but the only part of empire they don't like is that F-A, F word for homosexual, empire N-word. Like he's the only, like the whole show isn't made by a radical homosexual black guy, which it is, Lee Daniels. Anyway, he made it up. He called the police. He was still wearing this noose around his neck, pretense of a noose around his neck. And it was his personal trainers who were also maybe gay. He attacked himself. The cops thought that his wounds on his face were self-inflicted, which they were just kind of mild. But it takes some nerve. Hit yourself. And he says that they poured bleach on him or some type of chemical. Anyway, it was all fake, but all the mainstream media and the phony politicians and phony celebrities went after him. The clip 14, a person named Maze, not to be confused with our Maze. I don't think this is our Maze. Maze Moore on Twitter. He is a researcher, he or she, I don't know, and puts together a lot of these videos. You may have seen his work without knowing it, or maybe with knowing it. And he's all, Smollett brought the geniuses. Here's a 2-minute and 17-second clip of all the melodrama about Jussie Smollett, courtesy of Maze Moore on Twitter. Watch this.
This is about coming to the aid of another brother that has tasted the brutality
of
hatred, racism,
Steve
and bigotry.
Harvey.
In this situation, hate won't win. It will not.
Taraji
You didn't
Henson.
deserve, nor anybody deserves, to have a noose put around your neck.
He had bleach poured onto him.
This needs to stop.
He will forgive these people for what they did.
That guy.
But he won't, and we cannot forget their actions.
Terrence Howard?
Hopefully that just opens up people's eyes. It's just what needs to stop, man.
Oh, yeah.
God damn, why are we going backwards?
There are a lot of evidence of violent incidents that happen at these MAGA rallies.
This is essentially terrorism, and you wonder, like, how deep it goes, these hateful groups that get together, or maybe, hopefully it's just two people, but that's what I'm afraid of, that it's getting a lot deeper.
Thank you for calling it terrorism, because the media does not.
It is.
It's domestic terrorism.
Absolutely.
But I don't like that it's being put out there in the media that this is a possible hate crime. I think that even sows a seed that makes people feel like, well, is he making this up? Well, what is this about? I don't like that. Like, don't put that in people's minds. This man was hurt, he was injured, and he needs justice.
It's the horrific details, behind the premeditation for this attack. They didn't find a rope, they brought a rope. I mean,
we pretty much thought racism had come a long way when President Barack Obama was president.
But by the way, it had.
Yeah, it had, but then the hatred. So if you really want to get into that, you want to build a wall for somebody, build a wall for some of the white nationalists and supremacists.
We have a media that's saying it's a debate whether or not what just happened to Jussie Smollett is a hate crime. It's absurd.
Ellen Page.
This isn't a debate.
Oh, yeah.
There have been people in the government now who have made it okay for people to announce these hateful feelings that they have towards other people.
We really need
to. Well, one of the things you and I were discussing earlier is clearly anyone who lives with this kind of hate is not terribly bright.
Not terribly bright, you dummies. Believe the obvious lie. Ellen Page, that confused evil woman. Anyway, Azador with a quick super chat. Melania was 28 when she met Trump, and he references biography.com. September 1998, 28-year-old Melania Naus attended a party in Times Square, caught the eye of 52-year-old Donald J. Trump. 28, 52. That's a long ways from 17, you lying sleaze. That's a reference to silly Jeremiah. What a mess, huh? Such a fake world. And they buy into it. They buy into white fragility and all that mess. Almost twice her age, says, it's ya girl, Catherine. True. Yeah, I don't advise that. I don't advise it. But she made for a beautiful first lady, and she was classy. And she didn't go for the mess the way that the evil other first so-called ladies have been, right? At least that. And now they have a son. What are they supposed to do? Separate? No. Now they have that son, who's tall, by the way. Let me tell you also about this evil feminist woman, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling versus the transgenders. Before I get back to calls, guys. Independent.uk foreign outlet. But this woman, I think, is a foreigner. Harry Potter fans criticize J.K. Rowling after new transphobic tweet. Please stop causing pain. Words causing pain. Yeah, Barron. Barron's tall. Barron Trump, by the way. Author was reacting to Police Scotland's announcement that rape-accused people can self-identify their gender. Meaning if you're a male, you can be like, oh, I'm a woman. I'm a transgender woman. J.K. Rowling tweeted, war is peace. Meaning she's saying that this is an upside-down world where they call things what they're not, which she's part of it. She was a Trump hater, a female feminist. Sick. JK is getting based, says Dramatic Spaniard. I don't know about that one. Freedom is slavery. War is peace. Ignorance is strength. And then sorry, kids. The individual who has a male body part, she put it in a different way, who raped you is a woman. Meaning the male is a woman. And she shares an article by the Times, it's foreign outlet, times.co.uk by John Boothman. Absurdity of police logging rapists as women. Well, there are women who commit rape, but they're referring to males who are transgenders. Police have been criticized for saying they will record rapes by offenders with male body parts as being committed by a woman if the attacker identifies as a female. And we've already seen some of this type of stuff. You know, the transgenders and the cross-dressers, they call themselves she or whatever. Police Scotland said, this is over in Scotland, I guess, said they would log rapes as being carried out by a woman if the accused person insists, even if the dude has not legally changed his gender. You can't change your gender, but legally, I guess you can. The move was first reported by the Scottish Sun, at least on Sunday it was reported there. Proposed new laws to make it easier for people to self-identify as whichever sex they want, which are opposed by some feminist groups. Where are the Christians? Where are the men? The Scottish government wants to remove medical checks for those seeking a gender recognition certificate and shorten the time people have to live as their new gender before it is legally recognized. What a dumb, evil, stupid world. Am I right? And so on that note, J.K. Rowling is correct, but she's just a dumb feminist who hates men. And she's evil, by the way. But even more evil is the reaction to her. Apparently, pro-transgender Struth Queen tweeted, thanks to her latest tweet attacking trans women, which they're men, J.K. Rowling's newest fans include Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis, because all the conservatives are all eager to agree with a liberal woman, right? Jenna Ellis, who is pro-LGBT conversion therapy, considers HIV God's punishment against gays, according to Struth Queen, says conservative women are hotter because they value their femininity, which sometimes is true, they're more ladylike. Hitler fanatic Ian Miles Chong, I've never heard that before. Ian Miles Chong, he's the guy still gray on Twitter. He's a liberal, pretty much. Calls Hitler his idol, I didn't know that. Fascist sympathizer. Oh, because he talks to whatever. Says he thinks it's okay to be sexist. And then this Struth Queen also mentions Lauren Chen, who also used to be, roaming millennial? Calls her a Christian nationalist, even though she's pro-LGBT madness. Or she's pro-gay, anyway. Runs interference for Nazis. Accuses advocates for a crusade. Great replacement conspiracy. Claims masculinity is under attack by feminism. All true things. These people are rabidly anti-feminism, as is TERF ideology, says Struth Queen. So, formerly known as roaming millennial, Lauren Chen tweeted this. Can you believe it? J.K. Rowling is strong, empowered. No, she's not. What in the world? And standing up for women's rights. And the woke hate her for it. Fall all over yourself pretending that women's rights is a real thing. Silly. I remember she appeared on The Fallen State, and she was basically siding with this bisexual black liberal against Jussie, this Lauren Chen woman, if I remember right. Blue checkmark Anthony Fantano at The Needle Drop tweeted that J.K. Rowling has hate for trans people, but flowers for abusers. Hate for transgender rapists, or fake transgender rapists, but anyway. Hate for men, really. And she shares a screenshot of Marilyn Manson tweeting, thanks to J.K. Rowling. Marilyn Manson is like a dark singer guy, musician. And I don't know if I've ever heard his music before, but he's been around forever. And he thanks J.K. Rowling for a bunch of roses. J.K. Rowling is the woman who wrote the Harry Potter series. She's an author. And by the way, she's a Christian. Did you know that? I learned that from, she was Me Too'd? Wait, who was Me Too'd recently? JK? Manson. Oh, Marilyn Manson. Yeah, that's right. He was Me Too'd. He was accused of like being abusive. Rolling my eyes. Give me a break. That guy is weak. He couldn't abuse a flower. Except he could abuse our ears with his music. Kind of like maybe is Marilyn Manson's music better or worse than Hake music? Manson into weird sex stuff? Shocking. Yeah, give me a break. Exactly. Here's another blue check. Oh, I learned that J.K. Rowling, from that great Canadian comedian who died recently, and then afterwards I got all into him, or at least listened to some of his stuff. I'm blanking on that guy. Who's that comedian who was cool? Norm Macdonald. He said that J.K. Rowling was a Christian because this some dumb guy who pretended to be a liberal comedian, barf, tweeted, "Oh, I read this great historical document, and it's inspiring, and a man sacrifices himself. No, it's not the Bible. That's just silly. It was the J.K. Rowling's books, right? Harry Potter." And then Norm Macdonald stands up and he's like, "I didn't like that joke. You don't know what you're talking about. J.K. Rowling is a Christian, and she said that if you knew the Bible, then you might be able to predict what happens in the Harry Potter books because it was heavily inspired by the Bible. So you don't know what you're talking about. Do a little bit of research next time." So J.K. Rowling is a fake liberal Christian, right? Because you can't be a feminist and a Christian. You can't. Anyway, blue checkmark Jordan Searles. Judy Squirrels, a queer black socialist feminist comedian, her, tweeted, "J.K. Rowling is a bad person with bad politics, a childish understanding of feminism, and a truly ugly spirit." Yeah, okay, black female socialist feminist comedian, her. You will recognize an ugly spirit. Look in the mirror. "It's upsetting to watch her harm marginalized people by tweeting that male rapists can all of a sudden switch to be women." I remember thinking that, who's that guy? Chelsea, he calls himself Chelsea now. Bradley Manning. Bradley Manning, all of a sudden, when he's accused and going to jail, which I don't necessarily support him going to jail, because normies who do bad stuff that's negatively impacts the government, throw him in jail. Reality winner, throw her in jail. Julian Assange, throw him in jail. But meanwhile, like Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, all these people, they do way more harm to the country. What a mess. But anyway, it's upsetting to watch her harm marginalized people with tweets. It's infuriating to me as a feminist, as this black female, queer black socialist feminist comedian, her. As an assault survivor and a woman. Yeah, they call themselves survivors instead of victims anymore because it feels a little bit more empowering, even though it's fake. Ridiculous. And they also shared this, just to edumacate you guys, there's this other feminist who they talk about, and I think she's dead now, named Anne Rice. And I don't know exactly what's going on, but Rowling said that she was motivated to address transgender issues through her Twitter account because of what she sees as an increasingly misogynistic society, meaning woman-hating. Give me a break. It is hatred, but it's hatred in the form of kissing up to you, you sucker. Anyway, another Anne Rice woman, Anne Rice, she said that she believed transgender people were sacred. That transgender people possess a unique gift of life experience that few ever would, which would allow transgenders to see the world from a view from the greatest height. This evil woman, another feminist who's dead now, I think she died, is kissing up to the transgenders. Trans figures in history that she learned about in her extensive studies. Fascinating figures in mythology were always transgender or genderless, Anne Rice said once. And in so many cultures reaching back thousands of years, transgender and intersex people were deified, perceived as wise and powerful. Just imaginary. And they're trying to go after J.K. Rowling, this female whatever. Sick stuff, huh? Sick. The sickness never ends. Let me get to Tony in California. How are you doing, Tony?
Good afternoon, Hake Report. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Fine. How are you?
All right, sir. All right. I heard you speaking about Weinstein and Trump. And don't you know?
No, you didn't. You didn't hear me talking about Weinstein and Trump?
Well, the call you were speaking to about Trump messing with young girls.
Not true.
I mean, not true. I got pictures of him with a 13-year-old sitting in his lap.
What, his daughter? Give me a break.
No, it wasn't his daughter. It was at Weinstein's Island.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Didn't he get sued?
You don't know what you're talking about.
Didn't he get sued? I was questioning you.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Didn't he get sued by that girl, that 13-year-old
Tony
girl?
Baloney.
You won't answer that question.
Every female sues every male and accuses them without evidence of some type of inappropriate thing when it's the women doing it to the men. So Tony, shame on you.
Why was he over there?
And the guy was talking about Epstein, not Weinstein. Get your steens right.
Okay, whatever Steen he may be, why was he on that? Why is Trump on that island taking pictures with this guy?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Tony.
I know
You're a
you
phony. Tony the phony.
You don't want to report that. You don't want to report
I don't want to report vulgar stuff and phony speculation and smears upon men.
Pictures don't lie.
You're a man.
Cameras don't lie.
You know what, Tony? I saw you with a 5-year-old girl.
See, you
I saw you with a 5-year-old girl. How do you like that? How do you like that, Tony?
Tony, you said that.
Tony,
you told me.
Tony,
you said
Tony. Now you don't want to talk about that. Nick saw it too. Nick saw you with the 5-year-old girl, Tony. What a sick person.
We know what Christians do.
Oh, Tony. Nuh-uh. You're the one who's lying. You call in every day lying. Every single time. Literally every single time you've called in, you've lied.
I don't call you every day.
Every day that you've called in, you lie.
Kristen, you say you were
you're stuttering. You're stuttering.
Didn't you say you rather be with a 13-year-old than a 30-year-old?
Goodbye, Tony. What a mess. What a mess. Tony, don't say that. Don't say that, Misty. Anyway, vulgar people. Asmodor with the super chat referring to Melania, the First Lady, 28, is over the hill. More over the hill for a woman than 52 is for a man. Interesting point. Interesting. Although Melania maintained herself pretty well, I might say. But it's true. Asmodor says, tell Tony to cool it with the anti-Semitism. Weinstein, Epstein, oi Gewalt. Or whatever that means. Gewalt? G-E-V-A-L-T. Let me look at that. Let me look this up. Because I don't know my words. Gewalt. Gewalt. Yiddish. Interjection. Help. An exclamation of alarm. Yeah, that same Silverman woman. She said crazy stuff, too. Vulgar attack on men. And the males, the suckers, are participating in it. Just because they're white and pro-America and Christian. They're going after Trump. They get excited about Epstein because Epstein looks white, even though he's a fellow Israelite with them, right? He's Jewish, right? Just like them. The black Israelites. He's their brother in Satan. Shameful. Disgusting. Let me get to Jeff in Louisiana. How are you doing, Jeff?
Pretty good. Hey, how about yourself today, man?
Doing well. Thank you, sir.
Man, I just want to make a comment on people like Tony calling in. Well, Tony is one example, and like all the stories you're running about saying Trump's messing with girls and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Have they not watched the news to see Joe Biden twisting little girls' nipples on national TV?
Gross. I don't know, man. People try. You're not supposed to be saying that, Jeff. Keep it clean, man. The heck? Even the Joe Biden thing, that's part of the attack on men, honestly. Because, yeah, it looks funny to people who it looks funny to a lot of people, right? Or it looks strange. But this is part of trying to make men look suspicious over like regular affection. They're going after men big time. And maybe Joe Biden is a little off. He's like ridiculous. But
on Trump and other people it is, man. But right now we got a pedophile in office.
But you don't know what Joe Biden has or has not done. I wouldn't go out and say stuff like that.
It's not just that one thing, man. It's like several things that you see on TV him doing.
I know. I've seen whole compilations of stuff that he's done. But that's not doesn't make it fair to just call him a pedophile. You can call him an attacker on kids because he pushes the LGBT agenda on kids. You can call him that and Obama that and everybody else who supports that degeneracy.
Okay, man. I'll get some more calls, man. I just want to make a point. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
I know these people probably voted for him though. They don't care. They're very selective. Anyway, what a mess. So, guys, before I get back to calls, here's another. I call her an evil woman. These women in office. Like these women aren't going to do anything. Wasn't there a woman in office who called herself bisexual? She lived up in like Santa Clarita area or so. Maybe not quite that far, but way up there. And was a representative. Katie Hill or something. And she called herself bisexual. She's like my age, give or take, right? A millennial. Maybe a little bit younger. And she had a husband. But then she got with a female staffer. And the three of them were doing nasty stuff. Women are every bit as vulgar and even more so, actually, predatory, especially towards kids, because women are really attracted to the kids. And gays, too. Like they want to get their innocence back or something. And so they're these so cute little kids. And meanwhile, they're supporting the Vex Peril. Vex Peril, that's pretty funny. I can't repeat it, though. Calling Joe Biden a terrorist at the very least. A certain kind of terrorist. These people are vulgar. Anyway, here's another vulgar woman who supports the LGBT mess, who's supposed to be a Republican, supports abortion in the case of rape and incest. Give me a break. Here is Nancy Mace, a female Republican, being a mixed bag on racism, but then you'll start hearing her confronting this Biden official or female Democrat evil woman about voter ID. And then she's right about this voter ID stuff. But this is a single mom. I've covered how Nancy Mace is. She's ridiculous. A single mother, bragging about being a single mother, yet being in Congress. Divorced like twice. Just recently divorced her husband, who's the father of her children. For what? I don't know. Here's Nancy Mace kissing up to the blacks and then turn around and being accurate. Listen to this. It's about 5 minutes long. Enjoy.
Is Representative Nancy Mace for her 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to thank Ms. Thompson. I was a state lawmaker for 3 years before I came to Congress. I represent the 1st Congressional District of South Carolina. And South Carolina has had its own history, very bad history with black South Carolinians, black and brown and African Americans. I recently took a vote to move statues like Supreme Court Justice Taney, removing his bust out of the Capitol Rotunda because he wrote the Dred Scott opinion, the one that said that black and brown and African Americans could not become citizens of the United States of America. I voted to move, someone like Wade Hampton, who encouraged the murder of over 150 black South Carolinians during his run for governor. And so I appreciate your comments about the 60s. I was not around then, but I've watched and read a lot of the history and seen the videos and seen the moments of violence against black America. So I applaud your work on that. My understanding is you were elected in 1972 in Texas. Is that correct?
It is correct.
Right, and I applaud you for making history, I imagine, in Texas and being a strong voice for black men and black women. Coming from South Carolina, we've got voter ID, and I'm assuming Texas is the same way. Do y'all need IDs to buy alcohol when you're purchasing at the store?
Yes, to be sure that you are capable of doing that.
Right. Do you need an ID in Texas to buy cigarettes?
You can't buy them unless you're at least 21.
But do you have to show an ID to buy cigarettes?
You have to show an ID.
Do you need an ID when you're getting a job and trying to get on payroll in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID to go to the pharmacy and get a prescription in Texas?
It depends on the prescription.
But do you need an ID for some prescriptions in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID to get Social Security services in Texas?
You do.
Do you need an ID to rent an apartment in Texas?
Yes.
Do you need an ID if you're going to buy a house and finance it via a mortgage in Texas?
Yes.
Duh.
Do you need an ID in Texas if you're going to board an aircraft and fly commercial?
Yes.
Did you fly commercial or fly a private jet on the way to D.C.?
A chartered plane.
Do you have to show an ID when you fly in a private charter jet?
Yes.
I wouldn't know. I've never flown on one.
A woman of the people.
So, did you need an ID to get in the building here today?
Yes.
Do you need an ID in Texas to open a bank account?
Yes.
To cash your check if you're working. Do you know, Representative Thompson, what percentage of blacks in Texas, black and brown African Americans, are registered to vote?
Oh, a huge percentage.
70%. Do you know what percentage of African Americans, black and brown Texans, have voted on average or in the last election?
About 64%.
Correct. Do you know how many whites are registered to vote in Texas?
Far more than African Americans.
72%. You have 70% of blacks in Texas who are registered to vote. You have 72% of whites in Texas who are registered to vote. Do you know the percentage of whites who turned out to vote in recent elections?
I want to say over 50-some%.
65%. Yeah. Do you know what percentage of Hispanics are registered to vote in Texas?
No, I do not.
63%. Do you know what percentage of Hispanics voted in the last election?
I think it was over 40%.
53%. Hispanics are not voting in as high a numbers as blacks and whites in Texas. Do you know the percentage of Democrats that support voter ID?
Would you repeat your question?
Do you know the number or percentage of Democrats who support voter ID in this country?
I do not, but I don't think it's a whole lot.
72%. Do you know the number of black and brown and African Americans in this country who support voter ID?
No.
75%. Do you know the number of Hispanics that support voter ID in this country?
No.
81%. Do you know where the state of Texas is ranked with black voter turnout in this country?
With black voters turnout?
Mm-hmm. Do you know where Texas is ranked?
Oh, about 44%.
The latest numbers that I read this morning was that Texas is ranked 10th. Do you know where Texas is ranked? So then top 10 in the country. Do you know where Texas is ranked with women voters?
Oh, way up in the 50s.
In the bottom third of this country. So I would argue that we have Texas has a more difficult problem with getting women out to vote than black and brown and African Americans. Thank you, and I yield back.
What a mess. I saw that.
Thank you very much. I'd like to go to Congresswoman Robin Kelly.
Too many female congressmen. Am I right? 44%? That black female is an 82-year-old black female, Senfronia Thompson, born in 1939, Democrat member of the Texas House of Representatives, been in office since 1973 until 83, and then became another Texas House of Representatives, whatever. What a mess. Evil woman. And now we have this other newfangled, supposedly white female Republican debunking the idea that voter ID is racist. Like, we need a woman to say that. Terrible. That was awful hearing her kissing up to the idea that, oh, we have such a racist history in South Carolina or wherever she's from. Please. Anyway, I thought I would share that with you. I saw that, I think, over there on TKR Official on Telegram a while back, and then I saw it again floating around on Twitter, and I peeked it. What a mess, huh? Last couple of minutes here, let me quickly get to Dawning Armour in California. How are you doing, Dawning Armour?
I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, sir.
I'll just really quickly get to my point. This onslaught of these non-white callers, Hebrew Israelite callers, they're trying to insinuate that white people are pedophilic in nature.
Yeah.
So let's just go over a little quick. I'll do this really rapidly because I know there's only like 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
So the continent of Africa, Libya, there is absolutely no age of consent, meaning a 50-year-old man could marry a newborn baby. Sudan, there's absolutely no age of consent. So a 50-year-old man can marry a newborn baby. Nigeria, the age of consent, legal age of consent, is 11. Angola, the legal age of consent is 12. Niger, the legal age of consent is 13. Don't come over here. And when they try to do that, they can't even find a white person. They go with Jeffrey Epstein.
I know. Yeah. You know, I thought you were going to reference the child rape statistics and child abuse statistics, which are through the roof when you look at the differences in black offenders versus whites and others, and black and Hispanic. They're way overrepresented.
Yeah, it's not an attack on non-whites.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out the fact that they want to call in and try to make it out to be that white people are out there, you know, doing perverted things, but they themselves are the ones who are.
Yeah. Especially now with the destruction of the family.
Far ahead of us when it comes to you know, these perverted things.
Right.
So I just wanted to list off some actual facts because these people have nothing but lies.
Right.
And they can't even fight. Jews are not white. Get it through your head, black Hebrew Israelites. And you're not Jews either.
Yeah.
Even though you think you are. Anyway, I'll let you go, man.
Thank you, Dawning Armour. Take care, man. Merry Christmas. All right, guys. This has been the Hake Report. Appreciate it. I'll catch you hopefully tomorrow. And I will get to Bill O'Reilly and Donald Trump. I wanted to talk about that little, they had a little rally, not a rally. They're doing a history tour, brief history tour. But anyway, guys, thank you and take care.